Thank you for all of you for joining today. I know it's a very, very busy time in the Rotary year. I was just thinking about the last several weeks. I've been to a district conference. I've been to 3 multi-district pets. I've been to a single district pets virtually. We've had 3 council on legislation town halls with our delegates, and just returned from Jacksonville, Florida, coincidentally, for the Zone 34 District Leadership Learning Seminar. So lots and lots going on. And I will just say that I'm always impressed and inspired when I attend these events, when I see the high quality of leaders who plan and produce these events, as well as those who are attending and are learning and sharing. It continues to give me great confidence in our organization and its leadership. I'm going to touch a little bit on membership. This is obviously a big topic for us at all times. I know it's something that we all think about. Zones 33 and 34 as of right now are number 3 and number 4 in North America. We are gaining quickly on the number 2 zone. There are 10 zones in North America, by the way, so it's 3 and 4 out of the 10. That's the good news. The bad news is that we are still on track for relatively small losses by the end of the year. And so you might be asking yourself, and if you're not, I'm asking you, what can you do about that? I would say that every person on this call is a leader, whether it's at the international level, the zone level, district. I know that we have area and club leaders on this call as well. Working with your members, working with your clubs to be sure they engage their members is critically important. Engaged members don't leave, and they also attract new members from their friends and their professional associations. Creating new clubs and creating new pathways into Rotary is truly critical. There are plenty of people out there who are would-be Rotarians. They share our values, they share our commitment to service, but perhaps the club in their community is not quite right for them, be that a matter of cost or timing or any number of factors. So it's our job as leaders to build bridges to them and to create an organization that allows them to express those commitments to service and leadership and integrity through Rotary and all that we can offer to them. So I encourage you to continue being focused on membership. And we know that June is usually a terrible month as our roles get purged. But as a district governor in my district said not so many years ago, let's win June. Let's make a concerted effort. Let's keep our attraction machine on. Let's create new clubs. And even if we fall a little short and we just mitigate some of those losses, it'll have a significant impact on our membership. So enough harping on that. I suspect you may hear a little bit more about membership later in this call. Anyway, I want to give you an update on our disaster recovery efforts. You all know that we had 3 major hurricanes hit our zones, the first of which was on July 1st. Continue to touch base with the folks in the Caribbean who were affected by that, and I'll be visiting later this month to see some of the recovery efforts there. The second and third hurricanes hit the Gulf Coast in Florida. The second one of those, of course, came right up the East Coast, wreaking havoc in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and even southern West Virginia. You all know that we established a recovery fund, and we've raised $1.42 million. That's $1,420,000. We have distributed a little over half of that at this point. So we've supported 50 club-led, highly participative projects where Rotarians and Rotaractors are the ones rebuilding their communities. And we provided them $770,000 to help with that. And we currently have another 3 applications in for about $40,000. So if you don't have your calculators handy, that tells you that we still have about $600,000 that we've collected that is available for, again, grants for projects that are led by clubs, that are implemented by clubs in a very hands-on kind of way. I'll also mention that, some of you've heard this before, the Rotary Foundation has a disaster recovery fund, and we have been able to tap into that. Our districts have been able to tap into that and have gotten another $250,000 to go toward rebuilding their community. So a really great effort. So far, it's over $1 million of funding from Rotary to recover from these disasters. Pretty incredible. I mentioned how busy it's been. I know you all know that. You feel it. You've got committee meetings and events that have been produced and events you're planning. We have many district conferences that are still coming up. The Zone 33 will have its district team training seminar coming up in about 1 month. Looking forward to that. The Rotary International Board of Directors will meet this week. In fact, I am flying out tonight around dinner time, and we'll be at a meeting in the morning at 8:30. So that's cranking up. And then I know that several of you on this call will be attending the Council on Legislation. This is Rotary's parliament that meets every 3 years. And that is an exciting event. Hearing parliament may not make you think it's exciting, but I promise you, it's a really interesting and exciting event. I will not be there voting this time, but I will be there observing and perhaps speaking a couple of times. So look forward to seeing many of you there as delegates. So I'm going to cut my comments a little bit shorter than normal because we've got a big cheese with us here today. I am very pleased to be able to introduce our international president-elect, Mario de Camargo. He lives in the state of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Yeah, it looks like he is joining us from his office at One Rotary Center. He had a long career and a distinguished career in the printing industry, both as president of a printing company and also very active in trade associations in printing and graphics. He served as chair or president of several of those. This year, he will celebrate 45 years of service in Rotary, which I think is tremendous. He's previously served a 4-year term as a trustee of the Rotary Foundation and 2 years as a director of Rotary International. And as I mentioned, he will be our president starting 1 July of this year. I'll add just a personal reflection. I have known most of the leaders who have been selected to be president of our organization, but I did not know Mario when he was selected. We met at International Assembly last year, and I was struck and continue to marvel at his intellect, his ability to speak very directly, and his humor. And I always say when you can be funny in a second language, you're just funny. I think that's remarkable to be able to do that in a non-native language and to be funny within a different language and culture. So Mario, we're very pleased you've taken time to join us, and I will turn the floor over to you, my friend.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you for the kind introduction. Thank you, everyone on the call. I know, I recognize some of the faces, a lot of faces here around this screen, and I'm sure that the ones that I've not seen in the last couple of months, I will be seeing the next year and a half moving forward. Thanks for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to address Rotarians. As Pat just mentioned, last week I concluded what I call I learned here in the United States that you have March Madness, the college basketball season. So I just concluded the multi-paths March Madness, which comprised of 14 multi-paths across North America. And it was an exciting experience because I had a chance to talk almost individually, as individual as we can be, to 4,511 club presidents, 4,500 club presidents, which means almost 60% of the number of clubs in North America, US, and Canada. So it is a real privilege. No president-elect can afford not talking in these events because you were talking to the movers and shakers of Rotary. It's not us. It's not the president. It's not director. It's not the district governors. The real movers and shakers are the club presidents. They are the ones that turn the Rotary wheel around and either make it happen or don't make it happen. But that was an exciting experience to tour. It's a little bit of exhausting. traveling to 14 different places in 6 weekends. I got some very interesting stories, like being stuck in the airport in Baton Rouge, Louisiana for the whole day, waiting for the tornado to dissipate and to fly into Atlanta. And so I missed one of the multi-paths in Ohio, but I'll certainly be back in Ohio in the coming months. In these speeches, I inevitably have to touch our number one priority, which is membership. And I had the privilege to talk to the club presidents because they're the ones who were going to turn the situation around. The numbers for North America are very dismal. They are very worrisome. They are very concerning for me as a president. We have today 3 scenarios, roughly speaking. One of the growth of Rotary, which is concentrated basically in Southeast Asia, India, Taiwan, the Philippines, Korea, my country's successor, my successor's country, Sanku. Korea is doing very well. They reached 63,000 Rotarians, up from 45,000 20 years ago. Taiwan more than doubled. India doubled. The Philippines grew 50%. Then we have some very interesting and positive stories in sub-Saharan Africa. Nigeria, for instance, Rwanda, Uganda. Those countries are growing in terms of membership in Rotary. And they are not wealthy countries, which offsets a little bit our conception that Rotary is only for the rich and affluent. They are also the privileged part of the country, of course, the elite part of Nigeria, the elite of Zambia, the elite of Tanzania. But we couldn't consider them wealthy countries. They are not, even though they're growing in terms of Rotary membership. Germany is growing, surprisingly, because they have they still cling on to the legacy model, the traditional Rotary Club, the legacy club model. Thriving. Their membership grew 40% over the last 20 years. And they still adhere to the only format that we've known until recently, since 1905, the legacy club. And this is the positive side. Then we have the countries that are stagnated. Some people say stabilize. I prefer stagnation because stagnation is conducive to action. Stabilization is conducive to comfort and relaxation. And those countries are not in a comfortable position, which includes my country. Brazil has been stagnant for 20 years now, always hovering on, over 50,000 or swinging between 49 and 51,000. This is not good, especially if you are the country of the president of Rotary International. I warned my fellow countrymen that they've got to do better than this, because the whole world is keeping an eye on how the Brazilian Rotarians are performing in terms of membership, since membership is my first and most important appeal and priority and focus. And to these intermediate countries belong a lot of countries like Italy, like some countries in Europe. Most of the countries in Europe are stagnant. Some of the countries in Latin America are stagnant, except for instance Argentina, which lost 35% of membership over the last 20 years. You are going to ask me, Mario, why do you pick the 20-year range? Because if you focus only on an yearly change, you don't notice how much we're losing. We're losing, for instance, in North America, we are losing 7,000 members net every single year. 7,000. If you get the number from 2015 compared to the number in 2025, North America used to have 360,000 Rotarians. Today, it has 290. So a net loss of 70,000 members. So roughly 7,000 members net every single year. But you have 8,000 clubs. So it's less than 1 member per club. So that gives the people the sense that we are not losing, because 1 member, what is 1 member? We are trickling blood. We are not hemorrhaging. So it gives us the false impression that we are healthy, because we are not growing, but it conveys the message that we are probably stable. But if you take the long run, if you take the long run vision, a 30,000 foot perspective, you see that we are losing members. And 70,000 members in 10 years is a lot of members. It's more than Brazil, which has 51,000. We'd be eliminating Brazil from the map of Rotary and the whole South America, for that matter, because South America has 70,000 members. So I was really glad and appreciative of the fact that I could address the North American club president directly and show them what the situation actually is. The situation is worrisome, but I had to talk to the people who can make this happen, who can buck the trend, who can reverse that declining membership trend that has been happening over the last 20 years. Unfortunately, not a single district in the US has presented a positive growth over the last 20 years. All of them, 100% have lost membership, which is bad news for me as a president and for Rotary, because we cannot afford to lose any more members in the US, the birthplace of Rotary. That's where the process of change has to start. When I present this fact, people say, okay, Mario, you're presenting the numbers. The numbers are cold. What kind of suggestions do we have? Because we have some pathways. We have some success stories. And I tell the success stories, even in times of crisis. One success story that I think is emblematic is the Rotary Club of Altadena, California. You guys and girls probably follow what happened in South Florida with the fires. Altadena was burned to the ground, literally. The only remaining structures were the chimneys of the fireplaces. Everything was burned to the ground, including cars, property, everything. The Rotary Club of Altadena had, before the fires erupted, it had 35 members. 16 of them lost their homes. Almost 50% of the club members lost their homes, literally burned to the ground. And the club president, who happens to be a woman whose profession is insurance broker. Can you imagine being an insurance broker, president of a Rotary Club when his city was burned to the ground? That's a rough time to be a Rotarian and, lo and behold, the club president. But she held tight and she started doing like town halls with the city, with the community, showing, the legal advices. The lawyers in the club provided legal advices for people who otherwise would be prey to predator lawyers. We know this type of thing happens. When disaster happens, there are people who take advantage of vulnerable people. And they were taking advantage of vulnerable people in Altadena, California. They gathered the club lawyers and the club insurance brokers, and they started advising the city and the community about what to do in a situation of disaster when you lose your home by fire. How to exercise your rights to the full extent of your contracts. And that is providing knowledge, providing orientation, providing guidance. The city response was immediate. The membership went from 35 to 47 members in a city that is destroyed. 50% of the city is destroyed, and the Rotary Club membership in Altadena actually grew. So to me, that was an evidence of resilience, an evidence of the good that Rotary can provide to a community when hit by disaster. And, we have a lot of fellow Rotarians here, including Barry Rasson, who are really experts and knowledgeable about disaster. And I'm just mentioning one story that I lived here in California, North America, of a club that was reborn from the ashes when a disaster struck. So there are very successful stories. The Rotary Club of Winter Haven, Florida, which happens to be the refuge for my North American parents. Wise people, they moved from Minnesota to Florida, right? They flew from snowbirds. They're both 90 years old. I just visited them in Winter Haven, Florida. The Rotary Club of Winter Haven, Florida, 3 years ago was about to die, was close to death. They had 12 members. By the action of a club president, followed by his successors, they now have 87 members. And, that's an impressive story. They multiplied their action. They opened their vision. They started new projects, starting with one person, which I call the power of one. One person, one club president can be transformative in the story or the history of a club. So this is the situation. We have several tools in hand. For instance, we have new club models, new club formats. We have satellite clubs. We have companion clubs. We have corporate clubs. We have enterprise clubs. We have cause-based clubs. I am sure that we have a lot of Rotarians out there, potential Rotarians, who are not joining our clubs, either because they cannot afford to join our clubs, either financially or time-wise. You can't drive 1 hour and a half to meet Wednesday lunch and then 2 hours going back to your job and 2 hours in the club. You cannot afford to spend 5 hours away from your business or from your professional on a Wednesday noon just to attend your club. So there are different formats out there. And our biggest challenge is to create awareness to the club presidents that there are, and district governors mainly, assistant district governors, whom, by the way, I advise my district governors to put the assistant district governors in charge of creating a new club, every single one, because they know the territory any better. They know it better than anybody else. They know better than me, than Patrick, or the district governor. They know where a potential Rotary club could be chartered. And I think we have to use these people's knowledge to the benefit of Rotary and chartering new clubs. When people ask me, what are the opportunities for creating new clubs? I mentioned just two two numbers. As you can probably tell, I'm a data-driven person. Rotary has created, over the last 5 years, 4,750 clubs. That's the exact number. 950 clubs worldwide every single year for the last 5 years, in average. Of these 950, 550 were created in South Asia, India, Taiwan, the Philippines, Korea, 550. North America has created 63 clubs every single year, 63 for a membership base of 8,000 clubs. 63 is too few. It's nothing. It's less than one club per district in North America over the last 5 years. So it's a consistent number. It is not 1 year, spiked 1 year and then plummeted the following year. No, it has been consistent over the last 5 years. Only 63 new clubs were created in the US and Canada. That's the situation we have to change. And that's the situation I showed to my district governors and to my club presidents during the International Assembly in Orlando and during the multi-pats that I performed in North America. Of course, we know that one size doesn't fit all. We know that the remedy, the medication for Brazil or for Spain, which has a very limited membership, 4,500 members in a country of 50 million people, that is unacceptable. We are not doing our job in Spain. And Spain is a rich country. The neighboring country, Italy, has 38,000 compared to Spain, 4,500. So what works in Italy may be not working in Spain and surely would not work in North America. But we have to approach with these opportunities to create new clubs as the best potential tool to increase our membership in 25, 26. That's my agenda. I do not run away from belonging and from retaining members in the club, but my realization is, as a president-elect, what can I do to change the mindset of Patrick's club? Patrick Eak's club has its own culture, has its own mindset. I have very little to no influence in promoting membership growth in his club. I mean, his club has to realize that they need to grow because they need to leave a legacy for the generation, after us. That's my main concern. My main concern is not to grow Rotary to serve better our communities. That's implicit. That's obvious. That's talking about same old, same old. My greatest concern is to preserve Rotary for the next generation. We cannot let our current Rotary clubs die. We don't have the right to let them die. We have to preserve the clubs for the next generation because they are a beacon of hope. They're a beacon of service, as the Rotary Club of Altadena just proved. And I think there are a lot of Altadena Rotary clubs out there in North America. And I have deep faith that my North American club president, will change this scenario. They are now aware that Houston, we have a problem. And it's not only Houston, we have a problem throughout the US. Thank you, and I'm open to questions if you will.
Thank you, Mario. We're going to save the questions for our breakout session, but I do appreciate, and I have a breakout set for you. I do appreciate your joining our Zones 33, 34 monthly leadership Zoom meeting, and recognize your time is extremely valuable and limited. So we really appreciate the fact that you were able to join us and share this powerful membership message. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And our next speaker is going to be our Rotary International Director for 2628. And he is, it's an honor to introduce, again, I was going to do the same thing, the pride of the Rotary Club of West Jacksonville, yay, and Jacksonville, Florida, District 6970. Now, I've known Marshall really not a very long time, but I see that he has a monster schedule. So, and I'm sure he's already preparing and sitting in on meetings and all manner of things now. So we appreciate his time devoted today, and also devoted to the role he's serving for the Zone Summit. He is doing program chair, so he's the heart of the program for that summit in Jacksonville. Happens to like Jacksonville. Yeah. So please, Marshall, share with us some of the highlights.
Absolutely. Wait a minute. Looks like I need to share the right screen real quick. Share desktop number 3, and there we go. All right. So what we're going to talk about today is the top 10 reasons to attend the 2025 Zone Summit in Jacksonville, Florida, featuring our very own director, Patrick Eakes. And, President-elect Mario just mentioned March Madness. And, today I think everyone in Zone 33 and 34 really is a Gator fan, because it's the only team in the NCAA tournament left that's in our zone. So if we could get a go Gators from everyone as we prepare to go through this top 10 list. So number 10, the PDG Forum is back. Same great format, same brilliant minds, and yes, adult beverages will make their triumphant return. Cheers to fellowship. Number 9, our workshops are packed with real-world, take-it-home and use-it content. We're going to have workshops focused on AI, human trafficking, public speaking, disaster recovery. It's kind of like summer camp for leaders, minus the bug spray. And number 8, you'll hear from Rotary International President-elect Sanku, Foundation Trustee Stephanie, and Director Patrick, also known as the Dream Team of Rotary Inspiration. The number 7 reason why you should attend the 2025 Rotary Zones 33-34 Summit in Jacksonville, Florida. The Foundation Shark Tank is back and bigger than ever. There's a QR code right there that you can check out where you can pitch your project, wow the sharks, and hopefully earn some funding. We're going to be dropping some videos very soon showing the ways that some of the projects that were highlighted in last year's Shark Tank have developed new partnerships and are actually scaling to be pretty significant projects. So I know you all enjoyed the Foundation Shark Tank. Scan that QR code. We are now accepting applications, so get your projects in. The number 6 reason to attend the Rotary Zones 33 and 34 Zone Summit. Do you need a little inspiration? Well, speaking of Florida Gators basketball, Florida Gator Patrick Young will fire you up with his story of perseverance. Also, Angela Timbrook will share how farming can empower women and change communities. 2 really inspirational speakers so far on the docket, plus a bunch of others. You won't want to miss those speakers. The number 5 reason to attend the Zone Summit. There's a chocolate tasting, Willy Wonka style. This one, I mean, really, need I say more? Number 4 reason to attend the Zone Summit. Want to give back? Join us at Rethreaded and support survivors of human trafficking. It's service with heart and hands. Really great program that you're going to want to be a part of, participating with the folks at Rethreaded. The number 3 reason to attend the Zone Summit. Get a taste of local flavor with a craft beer night at one of Florida's top breweries. Because Rotary plus hops equals unforgettable fellowship. And the number 2 reason to attend. You'll leave with new ideas, new friends, and at least 5 things you actually want to try back home in your club or district. And I assure you, you're going to walk away with all sorts of great new ideas, innovative concepts, and creative new things to do in your club or district. And the number 1 reason to attend the Rotary Zones 33-34 Zone Summit in Jacksonville, Florida. It's the perfect mix of purpose, passion, and just plain fun. Where else can you learn, lead, laugh, and change the world all in one weekend? And there is an early bird bonus. So if you register before July 10th, you will save on your registration, unless, of course, you like paying more for procrastination. So be sure to scan that QR code, get your registration in. We're going to be dropping a whole lot more detail around the program as we develop it. But if you were in Pittsburgh last year, it's going to be a lot of the same sorts of programs, a lot of inspiration, a lot of new ideas, a lot of innovation, and just a whole lot of fun. So hope to see you all here in Jacksonville, Florida. And one more bonus, if you get here, I may even take you on a run one early morning if you so desire. So join me in one of my my early morning runs. So thanks everyone, and hope to see you all in Jacksonville, Florida.
Well, I believe that's a Yahoo. We're going to Calgary before we go to Jacksonville. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Dawn Rochelle, and I am pleased to serve as the Zone 34 Calgary Promotions Chair. And I want to introduce our past District Governor, Renee Laws, who serves as the Zone 33 Calgary Promotions Chair. And we have had an extraordinary time really helping to share the beauty of Calgary as we've learned right along with you. So thank you for all of you who have been joining our webinars that we have been having amazing experts on to even introduce us to things like Alberta beef that will be served to us that we'll talk to you about in just a second. But the amazing thing is that Calgary is a time to really sit in international possibility. The promotions team that has provided all of the details that we need is really going to create a culmination of the magic of Rotary. So we're going to drop in the chat for you today an RI cheat sheet that has all the amazing links. So as you're trying to finalize your itinerary, you're trying to make sure that you've signed up for volunteer opportunities, you want to know where to find the white hat that Renee has as she's getting ready to come up and talk to you about the gathering in just a minute. But we really want to make sure in these times of international travel that you have all of your questions answered. And the conventions committee has been extraordinary in providing all of the details. Now, you might be like me and I just need to know where I'm staying and how I'm getting there. But for others of you, you need to know who's picking you up at the airport. You may want to know things like, how do I have a travel voucher? How am I getting from this event to that event? Well, all of that is found on the convention page. And if you check out that RI cheat sheet, you will be in the know even more. So with that, I'm gonna toss the mic to Renee, who's gonna talk to you about the real event in Calgary.
The real event.
The real-
Mwahaha. The gathering. Okay, so this was previously known. Thank you, Dawn, by the way, for that intro. And I can see that we're having some Gator fever going on in the chat. So scroll up past the Gator talk if you want to see the cheat sheet. Go Gators. The gathering is formerly known as Southland. And I hope this is the last year that we have to say that. After this, we'll just continue to call it the gathering, and everyone will assume that's been the name for decades. The gathering is a place for all of our zone 33 and 34 peeps to connect and hang out while we are together in Calgary. And it has always been a really special event. But I encourage you to register now, because there are somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,300 folks coming from our zones that have already registered for the event, Calgary, the big event, but the gathering only has 850 slots. So there's going to be some kind of maybe a rumble outside. I'm not sure, but it would just be better if you registered and paid ahead of time and went ahead and got that registration in so you can attend. It is going to be an awesome time. Patrick Eakes is working with Lloyd Navarro and Mac Parker to bring a stunner. So keep in touch with us. We'll let you know as we find out exactly when and who is going to be presenting during that event. But it's usually some pretty heavy hitters in Rotary. So I'll toss it back to you, Dawn, and I thank everyone. Oh, real quick, we do have a challenge. Dawn, do you want to do this one? I just sprung that on her, and she's got her mic.
Yep. So the host I'm trying to put the cheat sheet back in to get out of the March Madness a little bit. So again, the official site of the host organizing committee, make a note in your notes in your phone, because you're going to want that site as you're walking around Calgary, because we all need reminders. And this is the site really that does that. But you and I both know, if you've attended a Rotary International Convention or a summit or any of these Rotary events that gather people, inviting a friend makes it even better, right? And we all need possibility and optimism in our life. And so why don't we invite more friends to that, just to echo President-elect Mario's comments today. So again, refer a Rotarian, invite them to Calgary, and they will get some very detailed emails that kind of help them to understand that we believe that Rotary is family. So join us in our Zoom breakout. And with that, we will turn it back over.
All right. Thank you, Renee and Dawn. You've done a great job this year with promoting, and obviously by the attendance you've already racked up to the event. But I'm really looking forward to the gathering as well. And I've already registered. I just need to sign up to get my cowboy hat. So thank you for the directions for that. So we have a few announcements. The first is the next MAP webinar and Power of Choice, and that is Monday, April 14th. And the next one is Foundation Matters, and that is being held on April 17th, 2025. So join us on Thursday. Public Image Boot Camp. That sounds fun. Prepare for a successful 2026 Rotary year. And that is Tuesday, April 12th, 6 p.m. Sounds great. And again, to repeat, magic all around. Thank you, Dawn and Renee, for sharing that for Calgary. Looking forward to it. Now, at this point, we're going to ask our 4 breakout leaders. That's Patrick Eakes and RIP Mario, Marshall Butler and Dawn and Renee to find their breakout sessions and stay connected with us. And we will have about 15 minutes. Everybody will be unmuted and you can ask questions in your breakout sessions. So I think that will be obvious where to find.